Hello, Coach Jason here with chessforanyone.com, and today we're looking at a couple of tailmates, both the dovetail mate and the swallowtail mate, and stay tuned. At the end of this video, I will show off some of my swordplay skills. Before we get started, please click on that subscribe button at the bottom right of your screen there, little red and white button there. I would greatly appreciate it. But our first scenario here should be pretty obvious. They're kind of telling you where you need to move. Here you can pause your video if you want to think about it, but yeah, the queen just goes ahead and jumps over, defended by the pawn, and that is the dovetail mate. We have another scenario where we can have this dovetail mate once again. Go ahead and pause your video if you'd want to think about this one. The dovetail in this case is the rook and the pawn. They're blocking off the squares, so the queen just comes up here. And again, this is the dovetail mate. So this one is quite a bit more complicated. Black to play in checkmate in 4 moves. Go ahead and pause your video if you want to think about it. Dovetail mate. The dovetail mate in 4 moves. Always want to consider checks. It's a bishop sacrifice. Queen comes over here, chases the king. And in this case, white's own pawns here end up being the dovetail, and we can force the checkmate. Okay, this is our final example for the dovetail mate. We'll see a couple examples for the swallowtail mate in just a few moments. But this one is actually checkmate in a single move, but it's a little bit more complicated because the tail is not actual pieces that are in the way. It ends up being just attacked squares here. So you can go ahead and pause your video. It's white to move and checkmate in a single move. But with the support of the rook, queen comes down to e8, and the bishop takes away the tail here. So the queen's moved, so now the bishop takes away this f6 and g7 square. That's where the tail would normally be in the dovetail mate, and that is checkmate. Now, this is really the dovetail mate also, actually, and it is checkmate in 2. You can go ahead and pause your video if you want to go ahead and solve it. But yep, we're going to use the pawn and queen as the tail. We gotta force the king into the right square here, and then that is the checkmate with the dovetail mate. And now this is the swallowtail mate. This is a swallowtail mate, and it differs in that before we'd have, like, say the tail would be right next to the king here instead of diagonally behind him. With the swallowtail mate, the pieces are diagonally behind. So you just need some supporting piece. The rook supports the queen. Oh, you can pause your video if you want to solve this, but you probably already have figured it out. So here is that checkmate. Black to move and checkmate in a single move with this swallowtail mate. Can you find it? You can pause your video if you want to think about it. But yeah, the queen comes down, supported by the king, and that is checkmate. Mates. Of course, I did promise that I would show you some of my sword moves, so I will certainly entertain you with that momentarily. But first, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Got that bottom corner over there that you can click on to do that nice and easily inside the video, and hit the notification bell also if you're interested in chess videos. I will be posting at least 2 videos a week. Alright, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.